Hi, I'm Paul Grossier from the Best Sports Block. This is Loki, the dog, and the new site mascot who doesn't like to be left alone. We wanted to break down the new Washington Wizards New Orleans Hornets trade from today. The Washington Wizards got Rashard Lewis, or his massive contract, to state it more effectively, and the 46th pick in the draft in exchange for Emeka Okafor, New Orleans' center, before drafting Anthony Davis in a few days, and also Trevor Ariza, their small forward. It's a really curious trade from Washington's side, the way I see it. They had a lot of opportunity for a lot of cap space, and they have a number of young players with Lewis's contract, which they could have amnestied, all 23 million of it and change. But instead, they opted to get Okafor, who is a good defensive center, but in decline and costs $10 million, as well as Ariza, who's a very good defender, but an extremely inefficient scorer who takes up a lot of possessions. Just a very inefficient player and not necessarily the greatest team guy either. So it's a very curious thing for the Wizards to do. They added some veterans and professionalism, sure, but they could have had the opportunity to really add an impact player to a team that's clearly growing and is going to add the third pick in the draft as well. So it seems curious. It's one of a number of curious moves that GM Ernie Grunfeld has done in the last few years, and he probably needs to go and needs to be replaced. Love to hear some comments from you guys on whether you think he should go or not. For the Hornets, it seems like a win. They get rid of two guys who are pretty superfluous, to be honest. They want to develop Al-Farouq Aminu, their small forward, so it makes a lot of sense for them to move Ariza, who is also extremely inefficient with the ball anyways, and would take away from Eric Gordon's possessions. And they wanted the opportunity to give Anthony Davis really good minutes at both power forward and center, since he's a Kevin Garnett type power forward who can play both the 4 and the 5 spots. And Okafor was really just in the way of that. It was totally unnecessary at this point. So it makes a lot of sense for them. They also pick up a pick in the middle of the second round, which in a draft this deep will actually be quite useful. They could pick up a center like Kyle O'Quinn or a shooting guard like Orlando Johnson or a number of others, or even stash a guy in Europe like Thomas Satoransky. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do. Anyways, would love to hear you guys' comments on the trade, who won or lost, and let's see how it goes. Thanks from the Best Sports Blog, and talk to you all soon.